Hello, everyone. Welcome to the board meeting of Trinity Metro. It's a little after 3. I'll call this meeting to order. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you join Ben in starting the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a presentation, which is the first item of business, the apprentice program recognition. Deetra, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome. Good afternoon, board members. I'm Deetra Whitmore, Vice President of Community Engagement and Customer Service. Engaging with our community is the heart of what we do. Whether it's through interaction on buses with our dedicated drivers, our transit envoys, at our facilities, or even through our call center, we strive to connect in meaningful ways. Another vital aspect of our engagement is building relationships with community organizations. Today, I'm thrilled to highlight our collaboration with My Health, My Resources, MHMR, of Tarrant County on a remarkable job training program. This 20-week program has provided 10 part-time apprentices from MHMR with the opportunity to work alongside Trinity Metro staff in our custodial and facilities departments, on being a part of the transit envoy team, in our maintenance or in electronic shops. This partnership not only offered participants valuable work experience, but also enhanced our customer service. As part of this program, the apprentice team members took classes on soft skills and resume building, even attending interviews at our headquarters before beginning their roles. And I fondly remember meeting each and every one of you and receiving your resumes and then bringing them back to Ms. Kelly. So this is great. So I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our Trinity Metro team for their unwavering commitment to empowering these young people. You welcomed them to your departments, shared your knowledge, and created a positive work environment that fosters professional growth. You are truly rock stars, so give yourselves a hand. A special thanks to Mr. Dan Gadberry, Network Director, and his team for their invaluable collaboration with MHMR Vocational Apprenticeship Program. I, along with some of our team members, attended their graduation on January 3rd, where we received a plaque of appreciation. We appreciate you appreciating us. It's really amazing, Dan, that our conversation on transit turned into this great partnership. So transit should be like the table topic of every event, because it really makes some great things. And your dedication in providing meaningful vocational experiences has made a significant impact, and we are truly honored to be a part of this journey. To the apprentices, we extend our gratitude to you. Your dedication, enthusiasm, and commitment have significantly contributed to the success of this program. Thank you for your hard work and your positive energy that you brought every day to our team. So much so, you created a wow moment for us. So your efforts have been truly inspiring, and we are excited to see the great things that you're going to be achieving in the future. Now, at this time, we would like to invite each and every one of you to come up to receive your Wow Moment certificate. So I'll call your names if you will come up and stand, and after that, we'll get a picture with the Board of Directors and our President. All right, we'll start with Elijah Rodriguez. Tobias Taylor. Hector Guerrero. Daniel Marino. Nelson Oliver. Justin Hammond. Marvin Jarman. Nicholas Frey. And David Forbes. Thank you all for your dedication and congratulations. If we can have a picture with the board.
Take a picture.
Cool. Oh. Where do you want?
Board members, if we could just gather
Yeah,
maybe
just-
behind the graduates.
Okay, we'll all slide together.
We'll take one more step forward.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. In 3, 2, 1. One more. In 3, 2, 1.
I like was ringing the other day. I put these on and I don't have another.
Mr. Chairman, we have some words from Mr. Dan Gadberry.
All right. Hi.
Well, thank you, and thank you, Deidre. Little did I know, a couple of years ago when we dropped this project here in Tarrant County that we would be here today. So as a result of the partnership, we kind of came up with this thing called the apprenticeship bus. And all along the journey, with all the classes we've done here, we had stops that were called empowerment. If you can imagine, my office at that time was just inside the door where our facility is. Every day, the guys would come back to me and just tell me what awesome experience they had that day here learning the skills. And the next stop we had along the bus route was training, and the next one was empowerment, development. The last one we had was one called Hope. So our destination, I can absolutely say that each one of these guys know how to show up every time. That's what it takes to be employable. So once again, thank you so much for being our partner. We're not going away, we'll be back. Well, thank you.
Mr. President, if I may.
You bet, Tito.
Teresa and I have the privilege of chairing the Access Committee for Trinity Metro, and Dan is one of our honored board members and has been for many years now. So I'd like to thank Dan for his contributions and dedication to Trinity Metro and to the Access program. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Tito. Okay, words of wisdom, show up. That's pretty important. Do we have any citizen comments? Any cards?
I did not receive.
We have no citizen comments, so we'll move on to the November meeting minutes. Have you all had an opportunity to review the minutes?
I have a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Ben.
Second.
Thank you. Isaac, okay. We have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved unanimously. We'll go into some information item and reports. The first item of business is talking about our on-time performance. Reed?
Good afternoon, Board of Directors. I'm Reed Lanham, the Vice President of Rail here at Trinity Metro. And if you would please turn to pages 9 and 10 of your packets, we'll go over the November and December ridership and on-time performance for our two rail systems, TexRail and Trinity Railway Express. I wanted to start off with the number 103,312.
Bravo.
This past month of December marked a record ridership for TexRail. We are thrilled with that number. Our previous high was in the low 80,000s, so we just blew right past 90,000 and decided to break the century mark. I can't talk enough about our team. The crews, the mechanics, our maintenance way workers and Signal, the staff here. It's a true team effort, and along with our partner cities, the city of Fort Worth, North Richland Hills, and Grapevine, this was a very encouraging and exciting month for us. And on top of that, we came in at 98.1 on time. Again, TexRail's proven to be an extremely reliable and safe system, and the people here in North Texas are recognizing that with their patronage in riding our trains. We're thrilled to see what this year has in store for us, ending 2024 on a high note like that. We're expecting some big things this year, but again, kudos to the team and the job they did. TRE as well saw an increase in ridership in December of 5.7%. They came in just under 100,000 and at 98% on time. And I know I talk about it every month, but with the equipment that we run.
Keep going.
Am I hitting that with my elbow there? Sorry. I'm just so focused on that century mark there. With the equipment that we run, it's a testament to the team out at the equipment maintenance facility in Irving and all the staff there to continue to provide such another reliable and safe rail system that we have there. The safety numbers for the last quarter of the year, the holiday season, it's our busiest time of the year. We came in with 0 injuries as well. So again, we had ice storms, we had thunderstorms, record high ridership, and the team stayed focused. And the last quarter can always be scary for the safety department and all of us in operations with all the distractions that are out there. But the team stayed focused, and again, we couldn't be more pleased with these numbers that we're seeing. So we're looking forward to great things in 2025. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Anybody have any questions of Reed?
I don't have a question, but I just want to lob a statement to you and the team. I obviously during the holiday season had quite a few friends and family on TexRail traveling to see us and traveling away to see other people, and received multiple texts talking about just how courteous the staff was, how just amazing our system was. In one instance, they went from our system to another part of the country, and the system wasn't as pretty as yours. So they go, I had direct same-day comparison of how great TexRail was, and I just wanted to relay that to you and the team. Y'all are doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll definitely pass that back down to the team.
So what do you attribute that large increase in December to?
Christmas and Grapevine.
A lot of it has to do with Christmas and Grapevine. If we can go back, if I can hit my elbow just right on this thing, and I didn't do it. Regardless of that, Grapevine has a lot to do with that. It's the team. We like to talk about being our Super Bowl. December is our Super Bowl on TexRail. On TRE, we have the State Fair. That's our busy Super Bowl time of the year on the TRE, where we see a huge increase. But it's the word's getting out. Every year we see an increase in December, even though it's traditionally our largest month. We had a 20% increase this year. And again, it's the word getting out, people talking about TexRail. We're seeing that growth month over month, and people are talking about it and spreading the word. So.
Thanks.
And
Yep.
If I can,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Compliments to Grapevine again, and you're right, it's it's a great community there. We enjoy going there all the time. And I think it's also a compliment to our marketing team, because I get several people that tell me that, hey, I didn't realize we could do this. I saw it on social media. So thank you to the marketing team for all they're doing to push that effort too.
It's definitely a big team effort. We just had Sunday a big shutdown for the Silver Line project. So we had to implement a bus bridge between Grapevine and the terminal, DFW Terminal B. We transported over 600 people on Sunday with the bus bridge. So again, when we talk about team effort, the bus guys are always there saving our bacon when we have an issue or we have a planned outage, right? The marketing team getting the word out. We generally, when we have a disruption, we see a dip in ridership because people make other plans. But the fact that people knew how to get there and where to go, again, is a testament to our marketing folks, and we appreciate everything they do.
Terrific, great news.
And they're cool trains. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but it has a lot to do with it as well.
Well, and since when did you go to the 30-minute headways?
So we went to 30-minute headways November 3rd, and since then, we have seen a steady increase in daily ridership. That's been, whoever planned that was a great idea, so.
I have been traveling pretty consistently 2 or 3 times a month for probably the past 3 years. And while I find TexRail to be very affordable and reliable, I will tell you that hour was just hard for me. You know, we've gone for 5 days, and like when I get off, I just want to get in an Uber and go home. Yep. And since November, I've ridden TexRail 3 times because I can get home faster. I don't have to get all the way to B and then wait a whole hour. Sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, dang, I just missed it. Right. So I personally am very happy with the decreased time between trains and the increased schedule. So thank you.
And that's a common thing that we've heard, and we appreciate that. Thank you for the comment. In the beginning, there's always going to be a few people that we can't accommodate, or their schedules don't exactly line up with the new schedule. But overall, we've gotten overwhelmingly positive feedback. We've picked up a lot of new riders who the hour wait was a big deal for them, and now that it's 30 minutes, they're frequent riders now.
We'd like you stay up so we can keep talking about this, but we probably need to move on, Reed. That was great news.
I guess I'll sit down.
I had a personal goal of if we could ever get to 3,200 a day, I would feel like we really accomplished something. And now that it's 3,300, I know it's in December, so let's maybe make it throughout the year. If we could just keep going for a little while longer and get that 3,300 a day, then I think it'll really be a big deal.
Yes, sir. We'll keep plugging away. Thank you.
And we get Grapevine to have Christmas every month.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Well, the stockyards.
Wayne.
Here, you know the stockyards.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Board, and welcome to the new year. And hopefully this is the last of the cold weather, because I know it puts stress on all of our team members. I would like to thank everybody that's in facilities, custodial departments. All of the team does a great job, but they really kept the paths cleared for everybody when it was extremely poor weather outside, and conditions were not good for those walking around, and we still had customers riding buses during that time. I will be short with my report here today. Is this the clicker, by the way? Yes. Sorry, I usually don't work this
Chad, we
thing
just need you
very
to
good.
stand up there and do it for her.
Yeah, you should, Chad. Down? It's not intuitive. All right, so I'll be brief. Just some real quick comments. It's on page 13 on in your packet. With regards to reliability, fixed route was 88.1% on time. Their goal is 89%. So, knocking on the door, they were doing real well. Miles between road calls, they had 9,900 miles between road calls. The goal is 9,000, so that number represents 49 road calls through the month of December. Great job by the maintenance team. Preventable collisions, they met their goal of 1.03, and the goal is 1.25. They did have 2 safety events. That's injuries. They were from a non-preventable collision, so a good job by the team overall. The on-demand in-house, the reliability was 92.8% on time. Remember, we just transitioned to a whole new system and a whole new software. Excellent job. Our people did everything to learn the system and it provided better service because of that. Miles between road calls, they went 43,200 miles between road calls for our on-demand services in-house. Great job. It was 2 road calls for the month of December. Preventable collisions, they had 2. The AFR is driven by miles, so it was 2.31 versus a goal of 1.25, so a little off there, but we'll catch up during the year with the. Generally, our access operators are very safe and very avoid collisions. So this month was not the best, but again, it'll improve. They had safety events, 1 for an AFR of 1.16. And lastly, our on-demand contracted services, our VIA partner, their reliability was 89%. The goal is 92%. Miles between road calls, they were at 43,000 miles between road calls. Their goal is 45. Preventable collisions, they had 0, so their AFR was 0. And their safety events, they had 1, but it was a non-preventable collision, so not due to anything that their operator did. So overall, a great month. Next month, I'll come back and update you on the transition of the VIA Trinity Metro On-Demand app. We are launching the opportunity for our paratransit customers to utilize same-day service if that's what they would like to do through the app. It'll be a huge leap in service for our customers, something I know they're all looking forward to. We already tested it with a handful of a group of paratransit customers, and we'll go out and start training other customers as well how to use that product. But that's what we'll update you next month on. Any questions?
No, I just wanted to thank you for speaking to my Urban Land Institute group the other month. They love the Orange Line, and now the Real Estate Council wants to do an event with the Orange Line, so it's still very popular. So,
all right, great,
thanks
fantastic.
so much.
Service is still running well, and other than these cold days, we still have great ridership. So, thank you. Anything else?
Wayne, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, board.
Yeah, Chad.
I don't have any slides, so I'm lucky at this point. No challenges with the clicker. Chad Edwards, Executive Vice President of Planning here at Trinity Metro. I just have a couple of items. First off is the General Planning Consultant update. If you guys have any questions or comments on that, please let me know. I provide this every month as a status on where we are with the GPC. We are starting our 3rd year of the contract. If you remember back when we first got this approved back in 2022, the contract was a 3-year plus 2 one-year options. So I'll be back at the board probably the summer timeframe to ask for an extension of the other 2 years for the GPC contract, just to give you a heads up so that we know that that's coming down the pipe there. A couple other items very quickly. We had a meeting this morning with the Mayor's Urban Rail Committee. It was a very good meeting. Everybody that was supposed to be there was, and we presented to them a draft report of the committee. We've got some comments there during the meeting, and then we've provided an additional 10 days for individuals in the committee to provide comment back to the city and to Trinity Metro so that we can finalize that report. I want to thank Tom and HDR in their effort in helping us prepare that report, in addition to the city and TTI as they contributed to the report as well. So moving ahead there may be, I'm going to say may because I'm not certain yet, but we may have a presentation in February on the report to the council and then to the board at some point. So once we get that finalized, we'll let you know, obviously. Another really good thing that happened, I guess 2 weeks ago now, is that you probably have heard that we We're successful in our RAISE grant application for $25 million to the TexRail extension. So we were extremely excited about that. I think FTA was excited about that too, because about an hour after the announcement was made, they were calling us, how are you going to fill the gap, the rest of the gap? So they're really excited about the project, trying to figure out how this thing is going to get built as well. We do have about a $25 million gap still in the project program. Let me say program. And let me just explain what we're talking about when we say program. So previously, I've been talking about the TexRail project, right? $220 million project. Most recently, since we've been successful with the train sets, we also need a project to make improvements at the Mahaffey Maintenance Facility so they can store those trains once they come in 2 years. So we've been talking about the TexRail extension program, which includes the track and station from TNP over to the new station. That's a project. The $65 million for the vehicles as part of the program, and then the Mahaffey Maintenance Facility yard expansion that we've been talking about, roughly about $7 million for that. So when you add all that up, it's about $295 million. For the program that we have, we're still $25 million short for that overall program, which is really mainly for the project itself. I think it's very doable. We have a lot of different options on where we're going to find those dollars. Some grant opportunities, working with the city, working with state, working with Michael Morris at the North Central Texas Council of Governments on trying to figure out options for that other $25 million. So just know that for us, yes, we've taken one substantial step forward on the project. We still need to complete that effort and make it happen. So we're doing everything we can to make that happen, but we don't want to put aside our excitement about winning the grant. Richie, who's here, he and his group did a lot of work on the application, so I want to thank him and all of his efforts on this as well. Lastly, I want to share that we will be having a public meeting for some service improvements on February 3rd at 6 o'clock over at the Fort Worth Central Station in the community room on the second floor there. We're going to have present some updates on the Blue Line, some headway changes that we're planning for that. 11 and 16, if you remember, are actually interlined on the northeast part of Fort Worth, and we're going to make some minor adjustments so that they arrive at Central Station a little bit better and more on time with the train. And then 55 will have some time point changes as well. So we'll present all of that and explain what all that means during that public meeting, but just wanted to share with you that we'll have that on February 3rd at 6 o'clock at Central Station. That wraps up my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Chad?
Is that February 3rd meeting going to be live streamed?
That's a good question. I don't know. The person I would normally look at, she's not here, so
It'll be recorded.
we'll have to.
Okay.
It'll be recorded. Live stream too? Not live stream. We'll record it though
Make
and
sure
post
after
it.
we have it that we post that, because I had a few people that have missed a couple of meetings that you held that I was able to attend that were like,
Okay.
I still want that info, and I'm like,
Okay.
we'll work on that.
Yep, we'll get that posted then. Yep, thank you for that.
Chad, what was the date and time again?
February 3rd at 6 p.m. over at Fort Worth Central Station Community Room.
Can you talk for a second about the COG grant for TOD study of TRE? No.
No.
Okay.
I don't know enough about it to talk about it. I apologize.
What about the property that can be sold? Where are we with that?
We have several properties. I think between Greg and I, we need to just get the paperwork settled so that we can get that done, unless Greg has other updates.
Good Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. Greg Jordan, Chief Financial Officer. Yes, we're working with purchasing to establish the path forward for that so that we can publish the properties and dispose of them in accordance with FTA guidelines. But there will be a notice and then sealed bid process, and so we'll be coming back to the board for approval for those actions in the future.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Chad.
Okay, thank you.
Rebecca, welcome back.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. I'm Rebecca Montgomery here with a governmental relations update. I'm going to start with our Fort Worth City Council. It's election time. That's right. And candidates can file right now through February 14th for the May 3rd election. One seat that's open, that's becoming very popular, is District 5, where Miss Gina Bivens now sits. And so we need folks to get their name in, and we need transit supporters. I'll put you all on that. Next, we'll move on to Washington, D.C. January 3rd, our 119th Congress was sworn in, Republican majority of our House and our Senate. Then on Monday, January 20th, was the inauguration of the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump, in our nation's capital. His first day, there were many executive orders relating to a wide range of issues, and feel free to follow up with me on those details. Also, many confirmations are now taking place, including today, John Ratcliffe of Texas as the potential CIA nominee. So that's been interesting to watch. Now moving on to the state of Texas, our state budget. Last Monday, January 13th, our comptroller, Glenn Hager, released a 26-27 biennial review estimate. This estimate projects that Texas will have $194.6 billion available for the general purpose spending. The state revenue collections are expected to rise, with sales tax revenues projected to increase by 9%, reaching $94.2 billion. This includes things such as oil production taxes, motor vehicle taxes, franchise taxes, and natural gas taxes. Next, of course, we have the Economic Stabilization Fund, also known as the Rainy Day Fund. And that's anticipated to reach a record balance of $28.5 billion by the end of 26-27. This is the first time the fund's balance is expected to exceed its cap. More to come on that. These dollars are used at the discretion of the legislature, separate from the General Revenue Fund. Now to our Texas legislature. Last Tuesday, January 14th, kicked off the opening day of the 89th Texas legislative session. Many were waiting to see who would be our next House Speaker. Well, wait no more. Representative Dustin Burrows, Republican of Lubbock, was elected Speaker of the Texas House, defeating Representative David Cook of Mansfield. Yes, we thought it could have been good for us locally to have had a Speaker of the House from Tarrant County, but did not end up that way. Speaker Burrows secured 85 votes to Representative Cook's 55. Speaker Burrows, he received 36 Republican votes and 49 votes from the Democrats. So yes, our Republican House Speaker was elected by more votes from Democrats than Republicans, and this is not the first time. Supporting Burrows from Tarrant County, this is important for us, includes Charlie Guerin, Ramon Romero, Chris Turner, Salman Bojoni, Giovanni Capriglione, and John McQueenie. Burrows supports key issues such as education, property tax relief, water resources, and public safety. The House should announce committee assignments and chairs soon. Naturally, this process has been delayed because of the House Speaker election. And this shortens our time frame to get things done, awaiting for those appointments to be announced. And everything we do must be completed by June 2nd, which is the last day of legislative session. Then on the other side of the Capitol, the other chamber, Senate Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick announced his Senate committee meetings Friday, January 17th. Some key committee assignments for our Tarrant County senators include Business and Commerce and Economic Development, Phil King. Education, Phil King, Tan Parker, and Royce West. Finance, Royce West. Health and Human Services, Kelly Hancock. State Affairs, Brian Birdwell and Tan Parker. Water, Kelly Hancock and Brian Birdwell. And Transportation, Royce West and Phil King, just to name a few. As of this morning, over 2,700 bills have been filed in the House and the Senate. Trinity Metro's major policy issues include funding, and more funding. For public transportation statewide, dedicated transit funding, extend the Texas Mobility Fund Authority, and innovative funding methods to expand rail and transit options. We do this by educating our elected officials, which we continue to do now. And we're also working closely with our community partners, our North Texas transit agencies, the Transit Coalition of North Texas, North Central Texas Council of Governments, Tarrant County, the City of Fort Worth, and most importantly, all of you here serving on a Trinity Metro board. We appreciate you and we're going to need you. Thank you. This is your legislative update. Do you have any questions? Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Mr. Chair, I have a question.
You bet.
Rebecca, thank you for your report. Will you be issuing some talking points for us that we can share with
Yes.
legislators? And
Yes.
about approximately when are we?
We actually have those that we can distribute. I'm going down this week, and we have these items that we're going to start sharing with all of our elected officials'
Great.
offices, and we can share with you. It's a one-pager front and back, very simple, easy to read.
Okay, thank you.
I have something, Mr. Chairman. One, if during the city council races, if someone would like to run for District 3, they're more than welcome to look at that race if they'd like to. Secondarily, I think it's worth a conversation too. We don't have to belabor it here, but given the state, and I'd love your feedback, again, it doesn't have to be here, state of the legislature going down, and as we have in the past, just asking for funding for transit, I think sometimes gets lost on, especially this legislature. But maybe if we think about creatively about how it ties into the economic development that we want to do in that conversation, I think might fall on better ears with this upcoming legislature. So as we get ready for Tarrant County Days and everything else, it may be worth those talking points to have that kind of message. Talking about urban rail, that's going to spur a ton of economic
Absolutely.
development. So.
I completely agree, and I believe our president is going to have more updates on that because we received a lot of information this morning and from some other entities that I thought he would be sharing. So
Good.
absolutely, we are on board, and it's economic development. That's right.
Okay.
That's the message.
Thank you.
Yes.
I don't know if many people are aware, but the urban rail system in El Paso was built out of state money because you had a really strong representative there. And since that moment, and even before that, there had been no money basically for any transit agency. So where there's will and political power, things can be done. If we're smart enough to start talking about economic development and what it means and show these folks how it works. And I think the Transit Coalition does a great job with that, and we're good partners with them. So keep in mind that political will is a big deal. And if one person can get $100 million in what is now $200, $300 million worth of funding for El Paso for urban rail, maybe that's something we could do.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, one other comment. Also, to Michael's point about economic development, if you do not have some data related, the most recent data related to students that are taking advantage of the partnership that we have, I think we've seen a growth in our completions and recruitment as well. So that might be beneficial as we approach our legislators about how the impact to the community as far as higher ed as well.
Correct. I agree. And something that we do is we collect that data regarding access to education, healthcare, and employment. Because those numbers, you are spot on.
Yeah.
All those numbers, that gets folks' attention.
Okay, great.
You're right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Other questions? Yeah.
Unless there's anyone else?
Rich?
Okay.
Yeah, Rebecca, thank you for the update. Just to add a few related points, we do intend to send a strong delegation to the Tarrant County Days on the Hill, in Austin, rather. And so our leadership team will be making the trip down. We're also talking to other transit CEOs. We had a call last week There's interest among the transit CEOs of convening in Austin together to show that all the cities in Texas really need to stand together on this really important topic of transit and transportation funding in particular. And I would say that the rail system here in North Texas serves a region of 8 million people. And I've been saying this, I said it last week at City Council, that kind of system deserves a regional and statewide support. It seems kind of foolhardy to think that a regional system ought to be supported by a single principal city in Tarrant being Fort Worth. Rather, it should be treated the way the Galveston area ferries are treated, which is it's a regional and state asset funded by the state. Let's keep in mind these rail assets are legacy investments. So we're not talking about the state getting involved in transit operations or transit funding for operations, but rather if we build an asset that has a 40 or 50-year expected useful life that serves a region of 8 million people, 1 in 4 residents of the state of Texas live in this area, I'm going to say that squarely should be supported by the state in some fashion. And so when we think about leveraging federal dollars, we need local support, and local support in the eyes of those federal programs can be considered state funding. So in most places in the country, when they talk about a state or a federal and local funding mix, very often it's federal state. Here, almost all of our grants are leveraged with local, and local in our area literally means city of Fort Worth. So we really need to change the conversation, in my humble opinion, on this. We are expecting far too much from this agency in terms of its ability to capitalize on these opportunities. So I'm quite animated on this topic. Would love to talk more offline.
To add to your calendars on that note, thank you. Tarrant County Days is February 10th and 11th. Love to see you all there. And then our Transit Day is February 25th in Austin as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Glenn? Hey.
Good afternoon. I'm Glenn Miller, Director of Marketing, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit, or give you an overview of our holiday season campaigns. And I'm very pleased to start with something that's extraordinarily exciting. I got to pull this together. There it is. In November, our digital marketing manager, Brandon Poe, negotiated a partnership with Fort Worth Love List, a powerful online influencer, to secure a couple posts for us, Instagram Reels, that in the end totaled more than 5 million views. We were able to incorporate this paid social media influencer to reach new people and to increase rider interest, particularly in TexRail. And so we'd like to think this was part of the reason that we can talk about that 103,312 rides on TexRail in December. We have since learned that some of these posts or these stats have grown since we pulled together this packet, including the fact that this was the top post by this influencer in all of 2024. So we're very pleased to say that it was with us, with Trinity Metro. And furthermore, I think also that helped gauge the excitement for our post was that we were able to leverage our partnership with the Grapevine CVB and award a family 4-pack of tickets to the North Pole Express through this exclusive opportunity. So again, we believe this was critical in driving the ridership for TexRail in December. A few other things, again, Christmas capital of Texas. Most of this presentation is going to be about everything we've done with TexRail, and a lot of it revolves around what's happening in Grapevine. Throughout the 2 months, we were promoting the easy access via TexRail to Grapevine Main Street Station, avoid the parking hassles. We worked with the rail team to get some extra event trains on 2 evenings, their Carol of Lights street lighting event, as well as the Grapevine Parade of Lights in early December. Again, over 103,000 rides in December. Again, the North Pole Express and the Christmas wine train is also part of our package of partnership with Grapevine CVB. We're the co-presenting sponsor of the North Pole Express and the presenting sponsor of the Christmas wine trains. We were featured in all of their broadcast and digital videos, website, Christmas Capital of Texas marketing collateral, souvenir tickets, event signs, anything that talked about the North Pole Express, Trinity Metro Text Rail was included. We're able to do online social media ticket giveaways for both the wine train and for the North Pole Express. And the North Pole Express also offered a promotional distribution of our Text Rail playing cards on Text Rail Tuesdays throughout the season. And then riders or event participants that showed proof of riding Text Rail to the event were fast-tracked and were placed at the front of the line to board the Grapevine North Pole Express to meet Santa quicker. Earlier in November, we participated in the Fort Worth Parade of Lights. This was Molly the Trolley's final display or final parade appearance as we were announcing the launch of the Blue Line that's coming in April. Text Rail ridership that evening increased 4% year over year from the previous year's event as more community members are finding it easier to get around downtown. With all of the street closures, our bus services are a little stretched there and can't get to where they need to be. But Text Rail gets people right down to Central Station, and we've got photos of swamped platform that evening, getting riders back to their destination. And our social media posts related to the Parade of Lights actually had the highest click-through rate of all of our advertising in November. So we know that there's a great interest in this event annually. And again, we talk about Text Rail getting people to their holiday seasonal travel at the airport. And so we did a combination of a variety of media to promote the ease of riding Trinity Metro Text Rail to and from the airport through advertising partners such as the Fort Worth Weekly, Culture Map, some digital ads, streaming, pre-roll, and some paid social. But again, all of this led to some record ridership in December, which I don't get tired of saying. And then finally, through a collaboration with our friends at DART, we assemble an annual Santa train with TRE. And it's happened to be on Saturday, December 7th. It's a perfect opportunity for people, particularly on the Fort Worth side, to ride TRE, experience a fully decorated train, and meet Santa and Mrs. Claus, get some treats on their way to the Dallas Holiday Parade. So we had 2 special trains running early that morning, got people to their destination in Dallas to see the parade. Some upcoming partnership plans, because we've shown success here. We're looking to repeat a lot of this with the Blue Line announcement at Visit Fort Worth's annual breakfast on Friday, February 14th. We're also looking to create some sort of event activation aligned with Main Street Fort Worth Arts Festival and the service debut of the Blue Line with Downtown Fort Worth, Inc. And then we launched Trinity Metro Bikes earlier this month and hope to have some sort of grand opening celebration aligned with the near South Side's open streets in end of April. And finally, we'll continue a few more seasonal wine trains with the city of Grapevine for the balance of our current partnership with them. All of it works together to generate rides on Trinity Metro services. Very excited about all of that we presented. Any questions or comments?
I have a question, Glenn. I want to go back to the Fort Worth Loveless collab.
Yes.
Curious about how these statistics on this campaign compare to, or this collaboration compared to our historical non-collab performance.
Yes, I think Brandon could probably speak better to those numbers. This was certainly something far beyond our expectation with those results.
This was a new avenue for us, and I'm happy to share analytics with you offline.
Yeah, and I asked because I'm pretty addicted to TikTok and Reels and Instagram. It's been way too much time on social media. And I'm also always fascinated by this kind of thing about how, an organization collaborates with another, like to really expand reach. And I'm just curious about like how you all, I know you said this is like super massive, but like, are you thinking about pursuing other collaboration opportunities? Because like if it had this
Yes.
level of results and this level of result is far beyond what we've done in the past.
Correct. And in fact, we've already set up or had a meeting with another online influencer. Doesn't have quite the same reach and therefore not quite the same cost that Fort Worth Levelist has, but they've presented a proposal to us that we need to evaluate and check out. Our agency's also working with a regional influencer to gauge some options, perhaps with the launch of the Blue Line. So yep, this is definitely in our ongoing strategy.
It's not really a direct statement, but just the parade of lights, the blue bus all lit up was so cool that I had no idea till I saw the after Facebook that our staff was walking with it. All I saw was the bus. So.
And I believe it is still circulating with the lights on it and the banner. So
that's cool.
We're keeping it up. So.
Any other questions, comments for Glenn?
No. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, Greg. We get
Thank
any
you, Mr.
extra income from December?
Well, I'll give you an update. How about that? Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Greg Jordan, Chief Financial Officer. This afternoon, I'm talking to you about fiscal month 2 performance. And by this time of the year, we're sort of painting a very broad picture. As we approach the end of the fiscal year, we'll be getting much more dialed into that bullseye. Typically about 4 or 5 months into it, we start to have enough information to really paint a nice dialed in picture. But nonetheless, we do capture the data as we can so that we can give you the best year-end forecast. So with that backdrop, I'll just jump on into it. Starting high level, if fiscal year end, we're projecting about $59.2 million in net income. That's against a budget of $58.7, so pretty pleased there. From a revenue perspective, operating revenues are budgeted at $221.5 million. We're currently projecting $222.3 in revenue. This is roughly about $150,000 below budget. One of the drivers for this is the sales tax projection. We're currently anticipating about $118 million. This is roughly $1 million below budget. Now, to explain a little bit more color behind that, Grapevine was up 2% on the last sales tax reading, which was very exciting. North Richland Hills was down by 1%, and then Fort Worth and Trinity Metro were down by 3%. And so that data does help govern some of these projections a little bit, but nonetheless showing a little bit of a decline there. We also have a $78 million in grants budgeted. We're confident that we're going to get all of these, and we're anticipating getting them all by the end of the fiscal year. However, there are some that are going to come in Q4, and so I just want to highlight that for you. Now, jumping straight into the expense side, we had a total operating budget of $163.7, currently projecting $163.1, or roughly $700,000 below budget. Fixed route, year to date is $6.5 million. By this time last year, we'd spent $6.4. Early projections suggest year-end savings in supplies and fuel, and we are projecting a positive posture at year-end by about 1.2. And the most significant area contributing to that are the areas of fuels and lubricants. Now, we will continue to track this closely, as though it's only 2 months into the fiscal year. Access is trending slightly above budget by about $300,000, primarily due to in the service areas for purchase transportation. Access budget is $14.7. Year end, we're projecting about $15 million. TRE year to date is 2.8. This time last year, we spent 2.8. Currently projecting TRE to end the year at budget with total expenses of 19.2. TexRail year-to-date 3.4, and very much like TRE, we're expecting the TexRail to end the year at budget and the budget for FY25. Bike share savings projected at $154,000. The current Current budget was $976. We're projecting year-end spend of $822,000. This is primarily due to projected savings in tires, tubes, and supplies. Last year's total spend in supplies was $46,000, and this year we're projecting about $50,000. General administrative services, we're projecting $45.5 million, and budget of $45.5, and we're projecting $45.9. In summary, we're currently projecting year-end with 59.2 in operating income, and as we advance through the year, we're going to continue to dial this in, hitting that bullseye by around 4 or 5 months into it as we get more data from the departments and sales tax and all the different revenue sources as well. Our cash flow remains adequate to meet our operating and capital needs, and from a pure cash basis, we have about $15 million in unrestricted funds. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have. Thank you.
Comments? Well, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move into our action items now. We have 6 action items. Chad, would you handle the first 3?
Yes, sir. Thank you again. Chad Edwards, Executive Vice President of Planning here at Trinity Metro. Good afternoon. I'm here to ask for your action on item number BA 2025-18. This is the TexRail Medical District Extension Pre-Construction Services Supplemental Agreement. There we go. In June of 2023, Trinity Metro awarded a construction manager at risk contract to Fort Worth Transit Partners. The contract included pre-construction services for design, review, and preliminary estimating during the final design phase and potential negotiation of guaranteed maximum price contract for construction of the TexRail Medical District Extension project. The pre-construction contract requires additional time and funding to keep the CMAR engaged in the project, and the original contract amount has been expended. The CMAR has submitted a cost estimate to extend pre-construction services an additional 12 months in the amount of $3,820. This extension will allow pre-construction services to extend to October 2025 and provide additional time to complete the stakeholder coordination, the third-party agreements, and secure additional funding to advance the project. We do have funds available in the FY 2025 capital budget for this expense, and then it's recommended that the Trinity Metro's Board of Directors authorize the President and Chief Executive Officer to execute a supplemental agreement with Fort Worth Transit Partners for additional pre-construction services for the TexRail Medical District Extension in the amount of $300,820 for a revised total amount not to exceed $2,001,262.
Questions from the board?
Just real quick, napkin math, perfectly okay with everything. Just curious on the deliverables. This is a 12-month extension for the pre-con, reasonable fee. Are we guaranteed any specific deliverables out of that, or is this just a duration change?
So mostly a duration change, but this will help keep them on board. If we didn't do this, then we'd have to cut them loose.
Okay, but we still end up with our GMP?
Yes.
All contractual in there, we're just giving them 12 more months to do it?
Yes.
All right, I'm perfectly good with that. Thank you, sir.
I'll accept a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving BA 2025-18, say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously.
All right. Thank you very much. Next item is BA 2025-19. This item is the TexRail Mahaffey Maintenance Facility, MMF, capacity improvements, final design. As I mentioned earlier, we're receiving 4 new trains because of the extension project. We're going to need a place to store them. And so this item here will help with the final design of the facility. We've worked through Jacobs Engineering and our IDIQ contract for this particular task. we do have the money in the FY 2025 capital budget for this. So the recommendation is that the Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorizes the President and Chief Executive Officer to execute a task order for final design consultant services with Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc., under contract number 23-031B in the amount of $522,072.33 with a 10% contingency of $52,207.23 for a total amount not to exceed $574,279.56.
Questions? Or motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion is second to approve BA 2025-19. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
All right.
Chad, the last item.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. This is item number BA 2025-20. The item is TexRail Medical District Extension Project Management Signal and Communication Final Design Supplemental Agreement. We could have come up with a smaller, shorter title, but anyway. So again, this is an item for us as we work with Fort Worth Transit Partners and we prepare for the 100% completion, 100% design of the overall project. We received a bid from them, from the Fort Worth Transit Partners, to complete the signal work and signal and communications work, and decided that we needed to seek another option because the cost was kind of high. So we went through Bowman Engineering and Consultants and their sub-consultants, Rio Grande Technologies, and who developed the 30% design. They've also would work with us and complete the final design for the signals and communication systems. This helps prepare the overall 100% package of the TexRail project so that we can take this out to bid with this little bit of information. This helps reduce some of the uncertainty if we didn't have 100% design on the signal work here. So the recommendation is that Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorizes the President and Chief Executive Officer to execute a supplemental agreement with Bowman Engineering Consulting, Inc., for additional project management services related to signals and communication systems for the TexRail Extension Project in the amount of $945,176.58 for a revised amount not to exceed $12,831,061.58.
I'm totally fine with approving, so I just have a question. So this, I mean, all of these design dollars were planned for in that $220 million bucket, total project bucket,
Yes.
right? So this is just moving that along. Okay, cool, great. Do we know, I'm assume we have this new $25 million grant already assigned to different stuff, right? Is that
It's
earmarked for
assigned to the
anything?
overall project. If we need to call it out for specific elements, we can.
No, I'm fine. Let's knock out the design. Let's do it. Thank you.
So just to be clear, the $25 million we just received in the grant is not this. It's going to be towards construction.
Okay, got it.
Sorry.
Got it. No, thank you.
Catching up on my thoughts.
No, you're good.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second for BA 2025-20. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously.
All right.
Chad, thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Hey, Richie? Is he gone? Do you wish we'd done the minimum operating segment through Mistletoe Boulevard now?
What was that?
Do you wish you'd had the minimum operating segment
Most
through
definitely.
Mistletoe Boulevard now?
Yep, I agree.
Okay, Reed.
Well, good afternoon, Board. I'm Reed Lanham, Vice President of Rail. And if you would please turn to page 35 of your packet. I've got BA 2025-21, and this deals with our positive train control, dispatching, secondary circuits, and licensing. If you were to Google average on-time performance for commuter rail systems in the nation, the internet will tell you it's around 90%. We have two systems here in the Metroplex that both operate consistently above 98%. So we are well above the industry standard. We have been impacted in the past by fiber cuts that shut down our railroads. It will turn off the signal system and we are unable to move until the repair is made or we can get up the secondary backup circuits. So after those impacts, we partnered with Herzog Technologies, Inc. We currently have a contract with them to provide our hosting and dispatching software data hosting services. This effort is going to make our systems more reliable. So with this, we would be putting in a more resilient network and extended license, along with secondary fiber optic lines and cellular backup to support and harden the system and avoid the negative impacts from a fiber cut. Under the terms and conditions of our current contract with HTI, Herzog Technologies, we have the option to purchase these additional services. These additional services come at a cost of $418,512 with the 5% contingency of $20,000 or $20,925. There are only two locations. This is mainly for TexRail. It's all along the TexRail system. There's only two locations that are where the TRE will be affected, and that's downtown here at Fort Worth Central and TNP. We have met with TRE staff. We're all on the same page here, and the TRE portion right now is $33,000, and DART will be responsible for their half of that. So, getting to the recommendation, the Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorizes the President and Chief Executive Officer to amend contract number 23-033 with Herzog Technologies, Inc., to purchase and install additional PTC network software licenses, hardware, secondary fiber optic line, and a cellular backup at various TexRail and TRE commuter rail locations at a cost of $418,512.27, plus a 5% contingency of $20,925 for a total not to exceed of $439,437.88. That will bring the revised contract amount to a not to exceed $7,531,501.30.
Any questions?
First off, completely support this. This really feeds to my always being prepared side. I would ask, and I'm happy to assist outside of this, beyond our approval, with the cellular redundancy. We need to make sure that their fiber grid is not on the same provider as our fiber grid of the first two fibers. There was a major outage in town last week that took down 3 major providers because of a power substation fire. And so if we're having the cellular as a true redundancy, I want to make sure it's on a different fiber backbone, if at all possible. Other than that, fully support, and thank you for running the due diligence on this.
If we give you this, can you have 1 month where you have 100% on time?
That is always the goal, but I cannot guarantee that.
All right, we'll take it anyway.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve BA 2025-21. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Okay, Reed, you're still on.
All right, well, thank you very much. If you would please turn to page 37. We have BA 2025-22, purchase of PTC kits for additional TexRail trains. So as we've talked about, we're purchasing 4 new Stadler DMUs to avoid the risk of them becoming pretty yard art out at the Mahaffey Maintenance Facility. We are going to need 4 additional positive train control kits from Wabtec. The purpose of this board action is to seek that approval to purchase the required 4 new positive train control kits, which include hardware, program management support, and the installation validation at a total cost of $498,749.40. So these trains, so you guys know, with the implementation of positive train control, every train that leaves the yard has to have PTC active before it can leave the yard. So this is an essential part of purchasing these 4 new sets. I'll move on to the recommendation. The Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorizes the President and Chief Executive Officer to amend contract number 21-009 with Wabtec Railway Electronics, Inc., to purchase the required positive train control kits for 4 new trains in the additional amount of $498,749.40 for a revised total contract amount not to exceed $12,188,776 and a dime.
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion and a second for approval of BA 2025-22. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. And, Reed?
To complete the trifecta today, if you would please turn to page 38. We have BA 2025-23, and this is a contract for the Trinity Railway Express F40PH locomotive capital spare parts. The TRE currently has a fleet of 11 electromotive diesel, that's the EMD, diesel electric locomotives, 2 of which are the F40PH model. When we purchased these vehicles with grant funding, it did not include the purchase of capital spare parts, which includes long lead items such as engines, traction motors, and turbochargers. It was determined that the authority should use the sole source procurement method to purchase these capital spare parts for the F40PH locomotives from Progress Rail Locomotive for an additional $800,000 with a 10% contingency of $80,000. The Trinity Metro portion of these costs would be $440,000. DART would be responsible for the other half. This was discussed at the TREAC meeting and the need for these. This will help ensure that reliability on TRE as well. We do have a thin locomotive fleet right now, and the more we have available to us, the more reliable we can be. So the Trinity Metro Board of Directors authorizes the President and Chief Executive Officer to make funds available and take related administrative actions in support of DART's contract with Progress Rail Locomotive, Inc. for the purchase of capital spare parts for the Trinity Railway Express F40PH locomotives in the amount of $800,000 with a 10% contingency of $80,000 for a total authorized amount not to exceed $880,000. Trinity Metro's share of the total will not exceed $440,000.
Thank you, Reed. Any comments, questions?
Move to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second for approval. All those in favor of approving BA 2025-23, please say aye. Aye. Are any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Reed.
Thank you.
Mr. President, lead us now.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, board members, Trinity Metro staff, and members of the public, I just want to start by recognizing the extraordinary response that Trinity Metro provided during the recent winter weather storm. We, every year, experience a couple of weather events. This one was interesting. We heard from the forecasters that we should expect, at one point in the forecast, 6 to 8 inches of snow. Obviously, that didn't materialize, but what we did have was every bit as challenging. When you put service on the road every day, you have to clear the buses, get employees to their assigned locations. Logistically, it can be incredibly challenging. Even a small dose of snow or sleet can create hazardous conditions on the road. And what I'm really proud of is how this team rallies almost on autopilot. It's quite extraordinary. It's not top down. This is a bottoms up organization in terms of how people come together. And I love being part of that team. Annette and I had a chance to ride with Ron Newman. Annette got shotgun in the car, and we went out and we rode and we shook hands. We met people along the way, bus operators, supervisors, train conductors, others who were out in the elements. And it's not an easy job, and it's a particularly challenging job during these kinds of conditions. And so in addition to being there for our community, we ended up providing all of the services that we promised to provide. Service was on the road. We had our trains running. We provided service because people are counting on us. And so just want to say thank you to everyone in this room, and please pass that along to your colleagues. I wanted the board to know. You're probably not surprised, but it is worth saying. On that note, I just want to give a special shout out to Mark Snyder. One of the challenges recently is our fleet is aging, and we are working on a fleet plan that will eventually replace many of our aging vehicles. But for the time being, our fleet is getting beyond, in some cases, useful life benchmarks that we have. And so Mark and team at the maintenance shop have been working really hard to keep these old buses on the road, and they're doing a fine job. Before Mark took the job, we had, and Wayne and I were looking at the numbers, something like 30-plus buses out of service on a given day. We've cut that backlog in half. Now, on a fleet of our size, you would expect to have 10 or 15 vehicles out of service for maintenance. So great job, Wayne, and please pass that along to Mark. Mark is doing a fine job, he and his team over at HRP. Okay, so I had a couple other quick updates. I had a chance to sit or present to the Fort Worth City Council last week, gave them an update on all that is going on at Trinity Metro, and I had expected I would have 10 minutes on the agenda. It ended up being over a half hour of dialogue with the City Council, and there wasn't a quiet member in the room. We had a lot of opportunity for engagement, lots of questions and dialogue. One of the topics that I've been focusing on is the need for a sustainable funding path for Trinity Metro. I know you've heard that, but let me give you one other way of looking at it. Trinity Metro today generates almost all of its revenue for ongoing operations from the sales tax. Fare revenue, other revenue, and federal grant funds provide additional funding. But here's the challenge. Our program currently cannot be supported alone with local funds. So let me say that a different way. If federal funding were to disappear, we would not be able to continue operating the buses and trains we operate today. Never mind expansion, right? Never mind new buses, never mind expansion of TexRail. So that's a strategic risk for us, a really critical one. We need to keep our eye on that. Obviously, there are a lot of unknowns. One is sales tax revenue is rather unpredictable. So even a sharp decline in sales tax revenue could have that effect. Never mind whether Congress or the new administration wants to change priorities in terms of how we invest in transit. So just want to call your attention, not necessarily but it is a call to action, something to be mindful of. And then I'll wrap up by saying, Trinity Metro's marketing department has been front and center in the development of our orange line and blue line that's coming. And so many have played a role. But Melissa Chrisman, a Vice President of Marketing and Communications, deserves a moment of recognition. Melissa left Trinity Metro last week for an amazing leadership opportunity in her hometown of Bloomington, Illinois. Melissa leaves not only a legacy of success at Trinity Metro, she leaves behind a great team, and arguably that's the best kind of legacy. And finally, as we look to a bigger and brighter future for public transportation in Fort Worth, it's critically important for us to have the right leaders in the right roles. And that's one of the reasons we are always evolving our leadership structure. And I'm pleased to say Annette Landeros has joined our team as Trinity Metro's first ever Chief Strategy Officer. Annette brings an infectious energy, these are my words, infectious energy, strategic thinking, grit, determination, and a disarming laugh. And I think you all know that, but that's one of my favorite attributes of Annette. And she'll help us accelerate our vision for a simple, safe, and innovative transit system. And this is our very first board meeting, so welcome aboard, Annette. With that,
That's good coffee.
yes, and that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Rich. I'll be brief. I've talked before about all of what we do comes incrementally, and I believe that. And if you think today about where we are and the increment that we have, it's pretty mind-boggling about Mistletoe Boulevard, about urban rail, about all the changes that Wayne is trying to manage. Thank you again, Wayne. It is all incremental, and including the support from your community. I feel, and I think many of you do here, that we're getting more and more support because we believe in what we do. We're out in the marketplace. We're talking about transit being the answer to many, many of our community problems. About a month, 6 weeks ago, we had a really nice article from Fort Worth Inc. magazine which talked at length. I mean, it wasn't just a puff piece. It really talked about the data that we deal with every day. And then just today, the Fort Worth report talked again at length about transit-oriented development. I haven't seen an article like that, well, since a month ago. So I'm suggesting it, and if you listened and you saw Rich in his presentation before the city council, this hasn't happened before, but every council member thought they had to weigh in to show that they were supporting transit in some way or another. That's remarkable. So if you think about those little things that are done every day when you tell someone how wonderful TexRail is, and when I tell someone that TexRail is absolutely the best commuter rail in the United States, I believe it, because it is. It really is. So we are incrementally moving on this journey. We have lots of challenges. I know Annette will just get us through this strategically to manage those challenges. So welcome and thank everyone that's been involved in this incrementally changing hearts and minds. And I want to task the board with doing the same thing every day, which somehow get within your community, talk about it so that over time, it's one heart and mind at a time. So if we keep doing that, as I've said, and be relentless about that mission, we will keep incrementally building into a really important agency. Right now, we're doing the best possible job with the money we have. Can imagine if we doubled our funding. Rebecca, that's for you, wherever you are. Anyway, that's my comment. Is there any other comments from the? Okay, no further business before this board. The meeting is adjourned.